Alright, what's up people? Rhyming. I just want to show you this. Let me get this right. It looks like I got a little flame on top of my head, a little crown. But let me pull it in. Alright. So yeah. Thanks for all the comments. I forgot about that. Yeah, good and the bad. Alright, so we're just gonna go into this. I'm gonna start by just reading the comments and responding to the comments and go on to some other stuff. Alright, so the first one, I said black people don't have braces. And someone said, yes we do. And someone said, he didn't use one. They're going back for it. Alright, so in 1989, if we do a hand count, so if you were in a predominantly black school, urban school, in a predominantly middle class, not so middle class, lower than middle class, I ask my question again. How many of your peers had braces? Yeah, I'm sure Hollywood always had braces. I mean, I mentioned Denzel Washington. He had braces. And so on and so on and so on. You're on TV. It was a price thing. Yeah. Same thing in Japan. When I got here in 2006, I didn't see many kids with braces. In a class of 30 and a school of 500, there might have been like 2 kids with braces. And then 2013, in a class of 30, there's like 13 kids with braces. Schools. Times are changing. Braces are cheaper. You know, before they used to be those big metal. Now they're kind of like really cute and stuff. You can get little stars and shit. Anyway, so moving along. So I'm not saying the whole world of black people didn't have braces, just the poor black people who didn't have braces. Or the people I knew who were poor. Alright, moving along. People like the goatee. Thank you. I like it too. Maybe you can see this. It turns red when it gets all like goateed out and stuff. I don't know why. It's like some genetic I'm like a mutant, man. But I remember, well, I have 2 stories about this. Alright, well, first with my dad. So this is my dad. So I came into the house and I had my thing. And he's like, he came all close, like, why are your beard red? And I was like, no, first he's like, why did you dye your beard? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it's red. And I'm like, no, that's just how it grows, man. He's like, well, my beard's not red. And your mom doesn't have red hair. And my brothers, his brothers, no one got red hair. So why? I was like, nah, I don't know why. It just happened that way. He didn't believe me. So I thought that was funny. And another time I was at Temple University. I was like my first year or second year. Yeah, second year. I was in the SAC, Student Activity Center, and I was getting lunch, pizza, and this girl, I just got my hair twisted, and I was all like looking GQ and all that. So she's like, I never talked to her before, but she was just like, are you a stripper? I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you just got nice eyebrows, and you dye your beard, and you got... Like, no. But you think I could be a stripper? But it was embarrassing, so I never went in that line again. Alright, moving along. About a couple people said, I want to address this one. Someone said, Ryman, how is your Japanese coming? And I was like, what do you mean? Because anybody who's watched my channel long enough knows that I know my take on the whole Japanese thing. But I have more to elaborate, and I was just waiting for the right moment to bring it up, and I have one. Alright, so I'm in business class. Okay, this is also another person asked me, how is business classes? I can't take videos inside the business classes because, well, one, I don't talk inside the business classes because, I don't know. This is my domain right here. I could talk all day about how I feel. And I could talk all day about rap and the things that I've been thinking deeply about and such and such and such. But in business school, I'm still uncertain. There's a lot of frameworks. I'm not very strong on the accounting, the Excel, there's a whole lot of shit I'm not familiar with. So I have ideas. I just don't know how to wrap it inside the MBA framework. So I think in a year I'll be back. I'll be able to go to class and be like, I don't think this case is really about this. If we look at the numbers, we can see there's something wrong with the accountant. The finances, they ain't working. I granted, they're like, oh, he's robbing. But for now, I'm just kind of like, maybe. Anyway, so I'll talk more about that. Anyway, but in these cases, when we talk about cases all over the world, you can download them. Go to any grad school. You start with Harvard. I think they have the most. Go to Stanford. Go to most grad school, they have cases. I think most grad school use cases to study. And you could download it, and a lot of these cases are about companies trying to go into other countries, try to expand their business. They start domestically, then they go throughout their country, and then they want to jump to another country. And in all these cases, there has never been a paragraph, not even a little blurb where it says, well, before we start business in another country, we must learn the local language. We must study. We must study it and become fluent. We must not even a nothing, And it's every case. I just did a case, they were in Israel, Teva. Not that you guys would know, but they do, that's another thing. There's so many cases, they all blend together. One time I was talking to one of my classmates, like, yeah, you remember this thing? And she's looking at me like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, that was in my other class. Yeah, but this company, it was the drug company they were making, what do you call it? Imitation drugs. So like Tylenol, at one point they make it, they have a patent, but after a couple of years, 10 years, the patent expires, and then other companies come in and make the drug and sell it for cheaper prices. Who would have thought that was a business? I didn't know that. And I was kind of thinking, but that's illegal. But then it's not illegal. It's the patent expires and now it's up for market. That's just how it is. So this company is in Israel. A little small ass company. They're competing with Pfizer and P&G and all these other companies. And I don't know if P&G is one of them, but maybe they are. So they're competing with these big companies. And they started in Israel, and then they went to America, and they went all over the world, Japan, and nowhere do they say, okay, first we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this. But the success of our company depends on if we can speak the language fluently. Now you hire those people, like all you people who are out there speaking fluent Japanese. That's cool. And when I need the help, I will pay you. Not too much, but just a little bit, to speak on my behalf. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. Like, I doubt many of you are making computers. Well, before I get on the YouTube, I must learn how to make the computers and learn how everything works. No, I doubt half of you can fix your own cars or how to. You get my drift here? Now, yes. It's nice to know that you speak the language of the country that you are in. And there's a kind of pride that might come into it. Oh, you speak the language. Cool. But outside of that, I got bigger ambitions. If I do ever meet the prime minister, whoever that may be at the time, I have my translator with me. And my translator will say, and I'll say blah, blah. So yeah, that's the whole language thing. And then just to tie it all into a nice little bow, I've been here for like 8 years. And yeah, I had some problems, but the problems weren't because of the language. It's more of the culture, the customs. They just do things differently than me. So even if I spoke the language, I would, like, here's an example. I wanted to tell this story, but I didn't tell it but anyway, I bought the Mac TV for my PC. Now, if you're smart, you'd be like, Matthew, you can't buy a Mac. Well, first you'd be like, why? Because I wanted to I want to copy the screen of my iPad to the desktop. You say, why? Don't worry about it. But that's what I was trying to do. So I bought the Mac TV. But it didn't work that way, right? Because you need a TV, Mac TV. So I went to the Mac store and they tried to work it out. They were very nice to me. And they're like, nah, it won't work. So I'm like, can I return it? Well, he's like, you could return it. I was like, nah, I didn't buy it here. I bought it at an electronics shop. Like, oh, well, you can't return it here. Just go there and tell them it didn't work and you'll get your money back. I'm like, cool. So I go to the store and I'm like, it doesn't work. And the guy, the staff was like, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work. And he's like, we can't return it. So I'm looking at him. So he's like, he keeps saying it. And then he pulls out the English he does know. I am sorry, we cannot return it. I said, oh, yes, you are. I just kept looking at him. So then and then the manager came, and the manager says in English, we cannot return it. I said, did you even ask me what's wrong with it? He's like, no, we just can't return it. I'm like, really? We can't return it? Actually, it's not the manager, it was someone who speaks English. So he's saying in English, we can't return it. Because it's our policy. And he keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on about this. Now, the Mac TV doesn't have software. It's just all hardware, just a little box with a plug to plug into the TV. Now, software, I know you can't return it, but this is hardware, and I have returned hardware at this particular store before. So they keep saying it over and over again. I'm just like, look, you didn't. Well, I'm just looking at them. I just kept looking at them. So finally, they call the manager. The manager comes over, looks at me, looks at the box, and he's like, okay. And then 2 minutes later, I got my money in my hand, and I'm walking out the door. Now, the crazy thing about this was they never opened the box. So in that advantage, it worked for me. I say, Matthew, that's not very good. Well, you know, it's a dog-eat-dog world. Nah, it's not like that, but it's just more the way we communicate. Americans could be sliced up to East Coastians and West Coastians and the Midwestians, and then the second generations and the third generations and those who lived on the slave plantations. So we could slice it up many different ways and get many different kinds of culture, regardless of the country that you go or come from. So just studying the language is not going to make you an expert in the culture of Japan. And then to keep going on with this, because I could talk about this all day. I won't, but I could. There's a lot of Japanese companies that are not Fortune 500, and they all speak Japanese, and they all live in Japan. Like, it just doesn't add up. Anyway, and that's all. That's so to answer your question, no, I am not. My Japanese has not improved. My cultural understanding is getting better because that's what I watch. I don't care what you say. It's why you're saying it, which you're not going to say why. The reasons for you saying it, which you probably wouldn't even know. And I do this in English, do it in Japanese, what have you. Okay, moving along. But to add to that, I mean, we're already at 13 minutes. I'm sorry, it's another long video, but y'all say you like it. But you know, people who find my channel for the first time, they hate these long videos because you're talking too much. But you know, I'm talking to the people who watch me. They don't understand that. You know? All right. Moving along. Takes guts to get in front of the camera. It does. But I've been getting in front of the camera from like 1996. But I still was captivating. I hope it's there. I remember, well, you're just going to have to see it, but I remember it anyway. Okay, moving along. So yeah, but talking in front of the camera, talking to YouTube, or talking in front of people, it just takes practice. I do a lot of freestyling on stage. Like, take away the stage part, then yeah, this would probably be more difficult. But I've been rapping in front of people since I was 16, so, you know. But talking in front of people is another thing. I got to work on that. So that's why another reason I went to go to grad school, because it makes you don't get greater if you don't talk. You know, you got to talk. All right, this video is kind of long, so we're going to try to wrap it up. All right, someone mentioned that Starbucks is overpriced, such as Apple and Beats by Dre. And, you know, again, my example that you could slice up everyone into like little sections. The same thing with shopping. If you, not the person who wrote this, but in general, if you think something is overpriced, then it probably wasn't targeted to you. Like in a marketing class, we spent lots and lots and lots of time talking about how to target the right people. Yeah. All right, peace, rhyme.